Okay. Hello, everybody, once again. My name is Colin McGuire. We are here talking to all the candidates, the wonderful candidates for the city council race in Charlestown. And it's very, very exciting right now from a very lovely place outdoors with, it's very, very green. I'm with Rikki Twyford, who's going for her seat in Ward 4, which you currently occupy, correct?
That's correct, Colin.
So I want to kind of start there. What made you want to run for re-election?
Well, the number one thing that made me run for re-election is that, unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to accomplish everything that I would like to accomplish. I was appointed to the seat right before COVID hit. So a lot of what our government, local and otherwise, have been trying to do has been really just mitigate the effects of COVID. So although we've been able to do a lot of good things, and Charlestown has really been, excuse me, has really had a good handle on the COVID situation. That's definitely, I feel like I haven't gotten out and been able to meet enough people and to just really do a lot of the things that can help make our city great.
So what are some of those things? What are some of the things left you want to accomplish?
So I'm very excited about getting people back together is what I'm bring our West Virginia Fest back. I want to make sure we have our car show this year. And then I want to be able to connect people in our wards, to have all 4 wards be able to come downtown and enjoy each other, have events in their wards. I know a lot of people say infrastructure, but really what I mean by that is just making sure that people are able to get out and about and move around and join their neighbors. So, repairing sidewalks and putting in the walking paths that we have been promised for a long time, I think is especially important right now, where people are really itching to get out and talk to each other.
Now, you said you were appointed right before the pandemic began. How did that come about? Was that something you wanted? Were you like, I want to get involved, I want to do this? Or did you just get a phone call one day and somebody was like, could you do this?
So it was the wonder of social media, actually. When Mayor Bob Traynor left his council seat to become mayor, it left an opening in my ward, and somebody posted it on Facebook. And I said, I'm finally at a point in my life where I have the time and the ability to do this, and I really want to get involved. I'd already been involved in the city through our local school improvement councils. So I'm on the local school improvement council for Page Jackson, for Wright Denny Intermediate School, and soon to be for Charlestown Middle School. And I just wanted to do more. I wanted to make a bigger difference.
So then when you actually got into doing it and the sort of the mechanics of it all, how did you react initially? Were you like, wow, this is more fun than I thought it would be, or this is harder than I thought it would be? Were there any type of reactions like that?
That's a great question. It was a lot more, it took a lot more of my time than I expected. It is not just council meetings. There is so much more, especially if you really get involved and you allow yourself to take advantage of all the things there is to do as a city council person. So there are, of course, city council meetings, and I'm the chair of the ordinance committee, so that takes up time. I was on the mayoral select committee to review the charter, which we will continue to do. And then there are grand openings. Thankfully, there were grand openings even during the pandemic.
Yes.
So getting out to grand openings, we did the reverse parade. So when we weren't able to hold the Charlestown and Ranson Christmas parade this year because of social distancing, I said, well, then let's bring the parade to the people. Let's visit them. And so that's what we did. And honestly, that aside from, saving people money and correcting our ordinances, I got to tell you, the parade was just one of the most fun things that I did this year because you were able to get out and meet people. There were, elderly people coming to the door that hadn't seen anyone in a long time, just waving and saying, thank you so much for coming by. And we were throwing candy at kids, and it was just a blast.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. So then when you get involved and you find yourself, kind of immersed in this, was there a learning curve? Were there things at the beginning where you were like, ooh, I don't know if I know much about this, but I know a lot about that?
Definitely. Yeah. I jumped in with both feet. So when I first got appointed to council, I had a meeting with the city manager, sat down and I said, all right, let's go over some things. Let's catch me up. And Mr. Hennessy, I think, was a little surprised that I had done so much research. So I was, familiar with annexation and the budget and really just what the city was working towards, because it's all out there for any citizen to take a look at, which I think is just fantastic.
Mhm.
But doing that homework and knowing what we were up against, I think eased the transition into council. But I got to tell you, one of the funniest things I really, luckily we have Michael George on council, because Robert's Rules of Order was probably just the toughest thing to get used to. Just make sure that you say the correct verbiage for motions. But honestly, that was pretty easy to get around. But that was the biggest learning curve.
I I should ask you too, because I think you had briefly touched on charter stuff. Is the charter not going to be on the ballot this time around?
It is not actually.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, it is so very close, but we are going to hold off on that and get some more feedback, involve some citizens, and really just make it phenomenal. It's very close. We've been working on it for years, and of course, it was severely outdated. It was handed down from the West Virginia State Legislature. It wasn't even designed by us, and it had minimal amendments to it in over 100 years.
Yeah.
So really brought it a long way, including one of the most fantastic things that we did to it, in my opinion at least, is that we've given the citizens a voice. So currently there is no ability to petition for initiative and referendum in the charter. And the new charter, as it is now, allows for petitioning for initiative and referendum. So if you feel strongly about something, you have the ability to make it happen. And I think that's just fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. Is there anything that if this is something that wasn't able to get done for this election, which is disappointing, like you said, I think for all you guys, what are the things in your time on council that you are very proud of, the things that you've accomplished?
Okay, I appreciate you asking. So we revised the parking ordinance and made a lot of really substantial changes to the parking ordinance. And one of the things that it did was made the parking system self-sufficient. So we got rid of the antiquated coin. I think it was a nickel to park for like
Yeah.
30 minutes, or it was very, very inexpensive. And what we've done is updated those meters so that you can even use credit cards for them, which is fantastic in this day and age. But also it made the parking structure self-sufficient so that if you're not parking downtown, you're not paying for parking downtown. So the system can run in the black on its own and support the I lost his name is Ronnie, but I lost his time. Support the officer that patrols that area every day, via the income from the meters and tickets if they need to be tickets. So that's been something great that we've done. Just recently, as the ordinance committee, which is myself as the chair, and then Gene Petty and Kevin Tester, we actually were able to take the first really major step to equalize the sewer rates across the C-Tub customers. So, not sure if you're familiar, but there was Ranson, Charlestown, and the former Jefferson County Public Sewer District. And when those came together, which was before my time on council, they came together and they were all paying different rates, but really for the same service. So fortunately, just recently, we were able to take the first major step to not only reduce the sewer rates for the people that were paying an inordinate amount based on getting that same service, but also maintain the debt service ratio for the utility, which is like a credit rating for individuals. So they're able to secure more funding when we need it for capital improvements, as well as not drop below their credit rating or their debt service ratio for the bonds that we already hold. So that was a lot of work, I will not lie, but it's completely worth it. And I'm really happy to be able to make that big step.
If I recall, was there a citizen during public comment? Because you guys took the first step, I believe, toward the equalization of the rates. Is that correct? It's a process.
It is. It's a four-step process over hopefully less than 8 years, but it is laid out for 8 years. And yes, we took the first step.
And so in the pushback that the citizen said was that he thought you should just go ahead right away and do it all right then. What were the reasons that you couldn't?
So I would have loved to take Mr. Tolbert's suggestion and done it away, absolutely. And I personally really pushed Kristen Stollifer and the Charlestown Utility Board to squeeze every last penny they could back to the customer. And I had them, they probably hate me at this point, but I had them run so many scenarios where we could not, let me step back. What we did is we took the former JCPSD and we made that a tiered system to match Charlestown and Ranson. And I said, okay, what if we don't make that a tiered system? What if we leave it one tier, do the tiering at the end? And can we squeeze money out of the beginning? Can, instead of starting with the reduction we had now, can we make it, 4 or 5% deeper? And I looked at those numbers. We had the attorneys evaluate the numbers. We did everything we could to, like I said, squeeze every last penny out. And we wouldn't have been able to maintain that 130% debt service ratio, which really would have jeopardized our ability to secure more funding. So
I mean, you talked about how much work all this went in, all of the work that you put into it, and you've only been on council for, I guess it would be what, a year and a half or so, or something like that. And it spawned, you said earlier, just from being on Facebook, essentially. And at this point, it sounds like you said you jumped in both feet first. Have you fallen in love with it? Have you fallen in love with being on council, with doing local politics?
I think I have a little bit, for sure. Just this conversation with my husband earlier today, and I said, wow, this is exhausting. And I was specifically talking about campaigning, but I said, this is exhausting. And he's like, oh, you love it. And I was like, yeah, I do. But you know what? The campaigning part is really just getting out to meet people. That has been fantastic. So when I'm out talking to people, I'll take copious notes, whether it's with my phone or a clipboard. So I'm always just writing down the things that people are saying. And one of the things that I'd really like to do, hopefully if reelected, but even if not, I encourage anyone who is on the council after this election to have all the candidates take those notes and compile them and really start working on them, because this is a golden opportunity. We have 10 people out there talking to 4,000 people. All touch points are incredible. So people that have reached out to me via Facebook or email or on the street know that I've kept notes and we're going to work on stuff.
I want to ask, however, briefly about, there are two issues that I think are just sort of, they're always going to be at the forefront. I wouldn't say issues, but two things that will be at the forefront of people's minds. They're bigger things. One, I think, is the casino. And I know the relationship that you guys have with it, you've been able to kind of wean your way off of the money you receive from the casino, which is a great thing from what I understand. But what role do you think the casino plays within the larger community? Do you think it's good that it had come in? Do you think it's bad? Where do you stand on that?
That's a good question as well. I am very proud of the fact that we are independent of that casino revenue, because especially during COVID, that would have hurt us greatly. Yeah. But even before COVID, that income was declining, that revenue was declining. Mm-hmm. So being able to get ourselves off of that and still pay the bills without that has been phenomenal. I think that the casino draws a lot of people to Charlestown. Unfortunately, those people are just going to the casino. I don't see a lot of those people coming for the casino, spending the night, and then hitting Harper's Ferry and looking at the John Brown House and coming downtown to Charlestown and experiencing everything that we have to offer. Mm-hmm. So I think that the casino puts us on the map, but I don't think it really contributes to our vision of being historically hip.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Now, the other big issue that, I mean, is not that anything can change, but of course it's Rockwool. And do you have any opinions on Rockwool? Were you for it, against it? Where do you stand now on it? I just toured it a couple weeks ago and they're almost ready to be up and running full 100%. Where were you on it then? Where are you on it now?
I think the important thing with Rockwool is to make sure that we learn the lessons, that and any mistakes that were made before, that we learn from that. So people, I think, felt like there was not enough notice as to what was going on, and they didn't have a voice. So I think that we have to be implored to get out there and make sure that people know, be very, very transparent. People know exactly what's going on, exactly what kind of businesses we're looking at. And, like you said, it's a done deal. There's nothing that's going to happen with it now. But the fact that we should never get ourselves in a position where we're bringing businesses into town that do not align with our vision. As a mom of 3, I want businesses that are going to benefit the community as a whole. Those things that we go outside of Charlestown for, that's what I keep saying to people is, I commute to Loudoun County 5 days a week. I don't want to go to Loudoun County for my leisure as well.
Yeah.
I want to bring things into our community that benefit us and create that sense of community. I want that small town feel. I don't want to sell out to big businesses, but at the same time, I want to make sure that we have smart growth.
Mhm.
So I think that's the big thing, is that we just really have to learn from this whole experience and make sure that we're listening to our constituents about what they want.
You mentioned smart growth. It's no secret that Jefferson County and Charlestown is growing at a rapid rate. Both are. And when it comes to that smart growth, do you have any idea of what policies should be implemented or what can be done to make sure that the growth is done appropriately and in the best interest of the town?
Well, I think that the housing market is so great, and builders are clamoring to come out here. Obviously, land is, relatively inexpensive compared to our neighbors. So they want to come out here and they want to build, especially because we have so many people that have the ability to work remotely now. So they're coming out to Jefferson County and to Charlestown. And I think that we have to work with those developers to reinvest in our community. If we just allow them to come and build all the homes, but not help with that infrastructure build, not connect people and put money towards, whether it's community centers and pools or, partnering to bring in activities for families, then we're definitely remiss. We have to make sure that if we're giving up that land, that we are getting what we need for our community from that.
So this is sort of the last serious question. I have a couple fun ones, and then we'll go. But and I think I know your answer to this, but with the COVID-19 pandemic, Charlestown relaxed a few rules when it came to dining and curbside pickup, and I know some people would like to see outdoor dining in Charlestown. Where do you stand on that? Would you like to see the curbside pickup be permanent?
Yes, I'm a big fan of curbside pickup, especially as a mom.
Yeah.
It's never convenient to have to drag multiple kids or even one kid into to get your food. So I think curbside pickup is fantastic. And I love outdoor dining. I'm outdoor now because it's great. There's no reason not to be. So yeah, I would like to see more of that in town. We have restaurants that have patios here and there, and we like to frequent those places, but it would be great if there was a massive shift towards the option of indoor and outdoor dining.
What do you mean a massive shift in terms of being able to do it outside more?
Yeah, just having the option.
Yeah.
I don't want everyone to take their roofs off. It's okay.
Well, along those lines, that brings me to the first of the lighter questions. And I've asked everybody who I talked to this. If you were to give me one recommendation for a place to eat in Charlestown, where would it be?
Only one?
Only one.
Okay. Oh man, I'm gonna break somebody's heart here.
It's always tough. I know it's tough.
It's got to be Ortega's.
Ortega's?
It does.
Everybody loves Ortega's. Everybody loves Ortega's. Why do you say that? What makes you like it? What's the thing you get there the most?
Nachos.
Okay.
Yes, I love their nacho supreme with carne asada. That is my go-to. They're so huge. The whole family can split them. And the staff is fantastic, but please don't, anyone else listening, please don't think that it's because you're not fantastic too. I have a ton of other favorite restaurants in town, but Ortega's is consistent. I love that about them.
You're running on the platform of Ortega's.
Yeah, I am. Totally.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I have lots of those too. My goodness. Oh man, this is tough. All right. Like, here's something that I would watch if it was on TV. That's how I'm going to answer this
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
on TV, hands down, I would stop and watch it, even though I've seen it a million times, is the Star Wars movies.
Star Wars. Okay.
The,
All of them?
the original ones.
Okay. The original ones. Now, so it's the Ortega and Star Wars platform that we're running on.
Yeah.
So over the pandemic, I know a lot of people they took up hobbies. They got into a lot of interesting things that they didn't previously know much about and
Right.
became obsessed with them, perhaps. Was there anything like that for you? Did you really get into something?
Well, definitely not obsessed. I won't say obsessed because I'm super busy, but we did do some really fun birthday parties. We have a big family, so our birthday parties were just us, just the family, but we went all out. So for my oldest son's birthday last year, we turned it into a movie theater. This is why I had such a hard time picking movies, right? So
Wow.
I turned the house into a movie theater. I got a popcorn machine and I put out a red carpet and we had different rooms with different movies showing. I mean, we just went all out. So planning really silly over the top parties has been something that's been fun during the pandemic. And then I would say also cooking. Not so much me, the kids though. We've really got to cooking. They have their own cookbooks. They got this really cool cookbook that's like science experiments.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it was great. So they were able to just look up anything they wanted to cook and I would help them make that.
What is the best concert you've ever been to?
Again, tough, but I'm going to go with Coldplay at Red Rocks in Denver, Colorado.
What were you doing out at Red Rocks?
I used to live there.
Really?
Yep.
How was that?
Oh, it was great. That's actually where I met my husband.
Why did you leave? Why would anybody ever leave Red Rocks?
I know, right? So it's just a function of work. I was able to transfer out here for a really good job opportunity with Costco.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, there's a bonus question then. What's your favorite Coldplay album?
Definitely Clocks.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm learning so much. So this is the final one. This is what I wrap everything up with. I don't know if you gamble. I'm inclined. Everybody I've talked to says they don't gamble, but Charlestown also has this very huge casino. So if you were to ever walk into the casino, what would be the one game you might want to play?
Oh, well, I don't gamble. Sorry to burst your but I've been in there, of course. I've been in the casino.
Would you just play slots then?
Probably. I wouldn't even know how to play it. I mean, I would figure out a table. I understand poker, but
you could play poker.
I would be terrified to go up against people who are
That's true.
really serious.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably stick with the slots, and it would probably, like if they had a great Star Wars themed one or a Back to the Future themed one, that's probably what I'd be drawn to.
Okay, that's fair enough. Now, if anybody wants to get a hold of you or check out a website or a Facebook page, do you have any of those things?
I do. So you can look me up on Facebook at Twyford for Charlestown. You can email me at Twyford for Charlestown, and that has the number 4. So Twyford for Charlestown at gmail.com, or you can give me a call at 304-470-7067.
This is so odd. Everybody, I have no idea when politics turned into giving out your personal phone number, but everybody's been doing this, and that would terrify me. That would terrify me.
Oh, it's not a problem. And I've had some great people reach out. I'm actually meeting a citizen tonight to talk about her stop signs and speeding, and it's fantastic.
Wow. I guess I'll start doing that. When I meet people randomly or go to the grocery store, I'll just give out my phone number. That's what
you do that.
I'll let you know how it goes too. I'll let you know. Thank you, Ms. Twyford, for all of your time. I know you're super busy, but thank you so much and good luck with the election.
Thank you very much, Colin. Take care.